We just got back from a whirlwind of a vacation, and in 8 days we crammed a Universal, Disney cruise, and Walt Disney World. And today we're going to talk about it.
We are going to include chapters in this video because if you are not as bonkers as we are and you don't want to do a repeat of this vacation and you just want to learn about various parts of it, we'll have chapters for each day so that you can just go to those particular points.
And we did vlog all of it, so if you do want more of a POV or real-time experience of this vacation, feel free to watch all of the vlogs.
So day one was our travel day. We left Chicago. It was an 11-degree morning. It was very cold, and headed to Orlando.
Actually, the day before, because Tracy and the kids went there the day before us, I helped them go to the airport so I could bring their coats back because they were wearing like very heavy coats because it was actually a lot colder for them.
I think it was like -6 degrees the day they left.
And they didn't want heavy coats, so I brought that back to stay here so they didn't have to have it in their suitcase.
Yeah. So we were one day behind them when we got there. They had already had a whole day at Universal, but we met up with them that evening for dinner at the Toothsome Chocolate Emporium.
Yeah, that was the first time that we had that restaurant. Usually when we go to City Walk, we always go to
Cowfish.
It's
our favorite.
So it was kind of cool to have like and a reason to go to try something else. Well, I really liked that place.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
I thought the food was pretty good. The drinks were good.
They had a cute little like merch shop in the front, so was able to kill time.
It was like a steampunk-esque aesthetic to it, so I like it. It was kind of cool atmosphere as well.
Yeah. So after dinner, we headed back to the resort. Kind of tired, honestly, but ready to kick off the next day. So day two was at Universal Studios for us.
Yeah, we kicked off the day. We went and had breakfast at the Three Broomsticks and Islands of Adventure.
Yeah, we went to Islands of Adventure because the kids and my sister and the kids had spent the whole day in Diagon Alley the day before and had never went over to Hogsmeade at all. So they wanted to start their day in Hogsmeade. So we started there.
So then we rode the Hogwarts Express with them over to Universal Studios.
Yeah, to go to Diagon Alley because they hadn't had an opportunity to ride the Hogwarts Express yet, and so that was a chance for them to get to ride it. But they wanted to spend the whole day in Hogsmeade, really, or most of the day anyway. But we wanted to go over to Diagon Alley, and we wanted to go over to Universal Studios because there were rides we wanted to hit there. So they rode over with us, and then they went back on the Hogwarts Express to go back to Hogsmeade, and we stayed so that we could ride the Mummy.
Yeah. So in all of Universal, my favorite ride is the Mummy ride. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. That's like a must to do when we are in Universal Studios. So we got to do that, which was great.
And then we went and headed over to Diagon Alley to spend some time there because we wanted to make sure that we got to ride Gringotts. So we did that right away. Shopped around in the shops over there. I like the shops, I think, there a little bit more than Hogsmeade. And we also had more pumpkin juice for me because I had some for breakfast, and I got some pumpkin juice, and you got to have your butterbeer. Yeah.
And of course, when we're in Diagon Alley, we have to also go to Nocturne Alley. I'm not a villain, but that is my favorite part of
I know, it's so cool.
Alley.
I think they did such a good job with that area.
I love that Borgin and Burke's is the best store in any of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, so that was a must-do. After that, we got back on the Hogwarts Express to meet up with the family. Yeah.
So we caught up with them kind of just in time for lunch. I did really like the way they've changed how you kind of order food at the quick service places in Universal.
Super simple. Like you could go pick a table and you can already have like a table set out in mind of like where you wanted to sit, and then they just brought the food to you after you had ordered it.
Yeah. I thought the mobile order at Universal was really slick. After lunch, unfortunately though, and maybe it's because we did it right after we ate, I'm not sure, but we decided to ride the Forbidden Journey, which we'd ridden before and really enjoyed. But I sadly got sick.
I think I confirmed the last time that we were in Universal, it was closed. So it had been several years since we had ridden it.
Mm-hmm. We are older now.
And then also, for some reason, there was no queue. So we just walked right on the ride. So it also made it a little more...
Yeah, there's no time for our food to settle. Yeah, so I think by the time we got done with that, it was maybe 2:00. And we still could have had a good portion of the day, to spend in the park, but we were pretty spent. It was also cold, though.
It was very cold. I don't think that
I had to buy a hat.
Like you're saying that it was pretty cold, and for Florida, it was like frigid for Florida temperatures. So it was kind of rainy as well, so it was like wet cold.
Yeah, I think it was in the 30s. So it was definitely not like terribly inviting weather for just hanging out outside. So I think, between the cold and not feeling well from the ride, we were anxious to get back to the resort. We ended up just deciding to stay at the resort and eat dinner at Bayliner Diner right there at Cabana Bay.
So the next day was our embarkation day for Disney Cruise.
Yes, we were all very excited. We were all wearing our cruise mode t-shirts, our matching shirts. And then we got picked up by a private transport to head to the port. And one of my favorite things about the way that, that is at the port when you make that drive to Port Canaveral is getting to see the ships. And so it was really fun showing the kids.
There's that one section of road where like the hill crests and you can see all of the cruise ships. And then, of course, like the kids, like, hey, kids, look, there's a boat. And they're like, oh, my gosh.
And the Fantasy was there.
Oh, yeah. That was really cool.
So that was cool because that was our first ship. And so we thought that was so neat that the one day that, or the trip that we happened to pick and the day that we're embarking on the Wish, the Fantasy was also there. So that was really super cool. Sweet treat.
Yeah, we didn't get to go through the Disney, the Mickey Head terminal. We were in the separate terminal because the Fantasy was
yeah, that was the downside of the Fantasy being there.
So I guess like it kind of
it was a little bit of a bummer for them. I thought the kids would have enjoyed getting to walk through like the Mickey shaped opening. So that was a bummer, but I'm at least glad that we got to enter through the atrium.
Yeah, so when we went on our Fantasy cruise, we entered through the lower
I think it was
deck,
like deck 1
because kind of for some reason the way that the bridge that extends out into the
it must have been out of service or something because they didn't have us go through that route. Like we had to walk quite a ways and then go down and outside and into
it was nice
deck
that
1.
we got to go to do that this time.
Yeah.
Even just for us.
Yeah, that was really cool. Much like it was for us on the Fantasy, when we walked into the atrium, I think we all immediately felt overwhelmed. I think I can speak for the group. We all stepped over into a corner of the atrium and kind of collected ourselves so that we could determine what we were going to do next, which for us was a new thing, and that was touring the kids.
Yeah, we didn't do that on the Fantasy Cruise. Obviously, we don't have kids, so it was not that important to us, but obviously because we were going with the kids this time, we kind of were interested in seeing what they were going to get to experience for that trip. Yeah,
and they're all in different groups because Jane is in Oceaneers. She's in the age range for Oceaneers. Milo was in Edge and Corey in Vibe. So that was kind of neat too because they all three kind of had their own space, which was neat.
Yeah, so it was cool touring them. I sometimes feel like that it's kind of unfair that the kids get to play video games all they want and we don't, but it's okay.
You want there to be an adult club that has video games?
Yeah, can there be a Guitar Hero on demand for adults? Maybe there should be a lounge.
There should be a lounge for that, yeah.
So as we were touring some of the kids clubs, Tracy and you went and did some stateroom tours?
Yeah, my sister is a mouse counselor. Several of her mouse counselors from her agency were going on this particular cruise. So we had the opportunity to tour several staterooms, which was really neat. So we unfortunately missed timing-wise because we were still in the kids' clubs. We didn't get to see the inside stateroom. So that was a bummer. I would have liked to have seen that. But we got to tour. I mean, obviously, our 2 rooms were both deluxe family ocean view rooms. So we had those tours. And then we also got to tour a deluxe veranda, a deluxe family veranda, and then a deluxe ocean view. And that one was really neat because it was a front-facing one. And so instead of having a round porthole, it had a square window and a vaulted ceiling, which kind of gave it some really cool characteristics.
And then kind of as we were both ending our tourings that we each had, we kind of met at some of the food places and getting prepared for the sail away party. This time we were right up to the front stage. It was really cool.
Yeah, we got there early so we could get a pretty good spot and be close to the stage. I wanted to get, kind of be in the action, which was great.
Yeah, I think that this just it definitely gave us a lot of energy. I really loved the sail away party this time. I feel like it was
so fun.
It was very enjoyable.
Yes, I 100% agree. It was amazing. And we got really lucky because this time when the horn went off, we actually
we
started moving.
We started moving right away, which is something that was new to us. It was really cool because as soon as the funnel horn, we like looked and like we're moving, and it was also added to that kind of like excitement because we were like, yeah, we're starting our cruise.
Yeah, it was so great. So and I know and then the kids of course got real excited because it was like, oh my gosh, like we're really doing this.
So after the sail away party, we just you and I popped off and we kind of like went our separate way, and we went to the hyperspace lounge.
Yeah, I was so excited to see the hyperspace lounge. It did not disappoint.
We wanted a drink kind of before dinner, just kind of like maybe help ease our excitement,
stresses of the day,
the stresses, and like kind of like the getting us into relax mode, like helped us like kick off that like cruise feeling.
Yeah, it was great. I loved how how the scenes would change. It reminded me a lot of the Skyliner on the Fantasy. It was very similar, like in the concept, but it was really cool because you'd like your magic band would buzz, and then like you would go into hyperspace, and the window would and then all of a sudden you'd have a different background of planets and spaceships and things outside the window. And then the first night, and we did request it this way. We wanted to have 1923 be our first night for dinner, so Tracy made that request when we made our reservations. So we got to eat at the Walt Disney side of 1923.
Yeah, I think just our nature, we tend to like the chiller restaurants,
the quieter,
calmer. And I think that 1923 is the most calm of the three restaurants on the Wish. Yeah. I definitely love the artwork and like the kind of like concept art and like kind of animation art that was all over the whole entire restaurant. Yeah, it was like I really enjoyed that. That's probably one of my favorite parts about animator's palette on the other ships. So it was cool to kind of like this whole restaurant was like dedicated to that.
Yeah.
Like.
And then this was a night where we actually did some things after dinner because I was rearing to go, and so we did a little shopping. We only went into the shop the one night, and so and we didn't really honestly get a ton of experience there because we were looking specifically for the mug, like the mug that we had gotten on the Fantasy. And we wanted that mug for the Wish, and we didn't find that, unfortunately. And then we never went back, so we didn't buy our ornament.
We had planned to get an ornament, and we had planned to get a mug, because it was like, our plans with like every cruise that we go on, we get the same thing, so we have like
have a collection,
like the memories of all of that.
But I got the sweatshirt, the hooded sweatshirt that I wanted from the Fantasy, and I also got the red sequin ears with the cocked bow that I'd had my eye on, also on the Fantasy. So thankfully you encouraged me to buy those that night, because otherwise I would have missed out a second time. I wouldn't have gotten them. So thank goodness.
And then after that, kind of went back to the stateroom, and I, for some reason, was feeling extra energized, so I decided to do my own little personal tour of the ship.
Yeah. That was nice because I got a nice quiet night reading in bed with getting rocked to sleep by the boat, which was great. And then you went out and explored the ship.
Yeah, I went to one of the walk up bars, I guess you want to call them. They're like Enchanted Sword. Mm-hmm. And there's also the Wishing Star. I found out that they were kind of like a coffee based cocktails only. I'm sure if you asked, they probably would make something, but that was kind of like their specialty. Which was interesting. I had a really good coffee-based old-fashioned, and then I kind of just sat out on the promenade deck on one of the lounge chairs and just watched the black ocean for a while. It was like it fed my like pirate desires to be sailing on the open seas. And then I like kind of walked around the ship and like saw what was still open, and then like the things that we didn't really get to like see during the day.
So our next day was our day in Nassau. That was day 2 of the cruise, day 4 of the trip overall. And we started out actually our breakfast at 1923 again. We decided to go there for breakfast.
Yeah, we decided to do a sit-down breakfast just because it's a little easier, especially with the allergies. You can kind of like, it's definitely more relaxing too. Like you don't have to like, worry about getting your own food. It's just
a little quieter.
It's a little more like restful and serene. After that, we got off the ship.
Yeah, Kai, my sister's husband, lived in the Bahamas for a time when he was younger, or his parents lived there right before. I can't remember the whole story, but he is, very familiar with the Bahamas, and was on a mission to find Goombay Punch. So we went to the little shops. The kids, of course, wanted to get, little trinkets. They're kind of memories of being in the Bahamas. So we went to the little shops right there, kind of off the port, and let the kids shop around for a little bit. And then Kai did find his Gouvet punch. I think he's pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, I never got to try it. I meant to.
I know, I didn't try it either.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go next time.
Yeah, and then on the way back to the ship, so I had in a vlog of somebody else seen someone get off at Nassau and watch like the big screen that they have as you're like walking off the port, and there's like an interactive kind of 3D portion where like I had seen a shark like break through the glass, and so I thought that'd be fun for the kids to watch, so we like sat and watched that and watched the whole like, so it's I don't know, a 10-minute loop or whatever it is of like ads, and then it comes on with the some 3D stuff happening, and the kids thought that was pretty cool, so that was a lot of fun before we got back on the ship.
So when we got back on the ship, we had a royal gathering planned.
It's an opportunity to meet several princesses at one time. So we did Rapunzel, Belle, Tiana, Moana, and Cinderella all in one go, which was really great. It was a nice way to kind of knock that out and get those photos and all the things.
We decided to hit up some Disney Tunes trivia.
That was so much fun.
That was a really fun trivia because there was a live pianist playing the tune, so it was really kind of difficult because it wasn't the actual sound of the tune that you're looking for. It kind of added a little bit more difficulty to it.
But the guy that was leading the trivia, I don't know what his name was, and I wish that we had gotten his name because we wanted to give him a shout out. He was so good. I so enjoyed him. He was so much fun. I think he did a really good job, like just kind of joking around with us, and then he even like performed a little bit and sang during the Newsies one, which I loved.
Yeah, when we were giving the answers, he was like, no singing until no singing now, but then like when they gave the answers, he was singing, and like it was really fun. It was really I feel like the entertainment staff does a really good job at like elevating the experience. Like it's already you're having a great time, but it's just like they're just like I said, icing on the cake. Like, it's just like really good.
It was pirate night, so then we did a pirate trivia, and that one was less entertaining.
Yeah, it was a little dry, so it was kind of like, eh.
It was all over the place.
But it was enjoyable because it was like getting us in the moment.
Once again, we stopped to get some drinks before dinner, so that night we hung out in the bayou, and I saw there that they had beignets.
Yeah, we were super tempted to get them.
I was like, I could maybe try a bite.
I didn't really want to put you in a situation where you felt like you had to try them, and also I don't need to eat a whole plate of beignets by myself. So
and then that night was Marvel for dinner.
Yeah, so Worlds of Marvel. Yeah, so it was a really fun experience.
And the show was good. It was cute.
Yeah, they had like a the scenes on the TV, and then of course like Spider-Man.
And it was interactive though, because then you could like press the little, I can't remember what it's called, the little cylinder thing that was in your table, and like
Quantum Core.
Quantum Core, yes.
And then the food was good. I love the theming, like the plates and the cutlery, like all of that was like probably the coolest part of that restaurant. It like had like the big Avengers like logo on the metal plates. That was kind of cool.
But that night we called it an early night. I think Tracy and the kids stayed up and did the pirate deck party. But we did not.
Yeah, we were planning, or at least I was planning to go do the pirate deck party, but I think once we like got back to the room, I was just like, this sounds nice, and then like went right to bed because I had woke up with texts from Kai like, hey, are you coming? Like, hey, do you want to come to the pirate deck party with us? Like, hey, we're up here if you want to come, and I'm like, my bad, dude. I was already asleep.
So our next day was Castaway Cay. Obviously Disney's private island. We had been to Castaway Cay before because we went there when we were on our fantasy cruise. So that was a lot of fun. And then we had breakfast at Marceline Market that morning.
Yeah, that was the first time that we ate at Marceline Market.
Yes, because I think we ate there again the next morning. But and that was the morning we got churro Mickey waffles. Oh. Right?
Yeah,
and I got to get gluten-free churro Mickey waffles, which was really cool because I didn't think that I would be able to do that.
When we got off the ship at Castaway Cay, even before we had gone on this trip, we knew that the next time that we were going to go to Castaway Cay, we were going to try some different things. So going with the kids, we knew that we were going to go to like the kids' beach and do like, pelican plunge and like the snorkeling. So that was something that I was really looking forward to doing that day.
Yeah, it was interesting because I think kids didn't like pelican plunge as much as we thought they would. And so we probably could, because I think the family beach is really big and kind of stretches around. So we walked all the way over to the Pelican Plunge side, which was pretty crowded. We probably could have stayed on the slightly less crowded side that was closer over to the snorkeling and been okay because the kids really just wanted to get in the water. I don't think they cared as much about the slide and all of that.
But the snorkeling was really cool. that was like way bigger than I actually thought. Especially when you're out there and you're like, okay, I'm done, and then like the beach is far away, and you're like, oh, I have to swim all the way back. It definitely was a unique experience, the fact that you could swim down and they have like the sunken treasures. I love seeing some of the stuff that they had put under the water. Like there were cannons and like boats that they had sunk, like a submarine, and
there was the Dumbo.
Then they had the Dumbo ride car. They had Prince Eric, which like in the movie, like that thing like sinks.
Yes.
And like it was like that was cool. Although the water was literally like at the top of his head, so like I think the tide was really low.
Yeah.
So yeah, but.
Yeah, because I've seen videos where it seems like he's a little deeper than that.
Yeah, and then if you were snorkeling, it's not like you're gonna like, if it was too low, you wouldn't be able to see it because they don't want you to dive down. They want you to stay at the top of the water, like most snorkeling places. So.
Although Milo miraculously, and I don't know how he accomplished it, but somehow managed to get himself inside of the Dumbo. So there is a photo of him inside of the Dumbo underwater, and he did that with a life vest on.
He was wearing one of those like foam life vests, so it's very buoyant.
So
and
impressed.
And he was just like determined, and he got down there and got a little picture of him riding it as if he were in the ride.
You can do anything if you put your mind to it.
So after the snorkeling, I kind of like changed clothes a little bit, like got dried off, and then we would head over to Cookies to get food.
Yes, yeah, and Cookies was such a treat. If you've watched our fantasy vlog or these vlogs, you know that you have to go to the regular Cookies to get allergy meals. So we ordered all of our allergy meals and kind of sat in this little section that's kind of off to the side of where you pick up your allergy meals. Really cute out there. We found a nice shady spot to sit. And then Jason, our server, took care of us, not just on the ship, but at Castaway Cay as well. We got a whole tray full of allergy-safe desserts that were safe for all of our allergies.
Yeah, they had ice cream, sorbet, cookies,
carrot cake. Yeah.
Like everything. It was like a whole tray.
It was
way more than we
needed.
But it was cool because one of the cast members that were like, they're like, hey, you're Jason's family. Like he told us to take care of you. And that was really cool. It felt like special.
Yeah, and I know the kids really thought that was pretty neat. So that was great. And then after lunch, we thought we would be really smart and head back to the ship and get there early to try to ride the Aqua Mouse.
Yeah, which was apparently everyone else's idea because we were gonna wait an hour, and like all of us at that point were like, nah.
Yeah, we were like,
let's just do something else. Like it wasn't really worth it.
So then we all ended up going our separate ways. I know Jane wanted to swim. I imagine the boys probably went to their respective kids clubs, and then you and I did some laundry.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that we had a full set of clean clothes before we go to Disney World. So we did the laundry. It was a little different on this ship because I think in the other ships there, or at least the older ships, there are multiple lunch rooms, and this one had like a whole like.
Yeah, it was like all in one.
Huge laundry room that you could use. Doing laundry on the ship is super easy. Like you scan your Magic Band to like pay for it, and then it is like linked to your app, so it like gives you notifications when the laundry is done, and then you can switch it and you can go back. So you can go and do stuff. You don't have to like just like devote a whole time to doing laundry. So after the laundry, we went and did some more trivia.
Yeah, and that one was fun. We did a Disney Tunes trivia in the Bayou with my sister.
And then we went to movie music trivia.
Yes.
Which was not just Disney movies.
In the Triton Lounge.
Which, that was by far my favorite trivia.
That was my favorite trivia of both cruises.
Yeah, Brian,
it was so good.
Brian, the entertainment staff that was leading the trivia, was hysterical.
Yeah.
It made almost the whole trip just to him. Like it was so like enjoyable. It was so fun, and we almost won.
We did. We were only
so
one
close.
away.
I think if I would have known, if I would have obviously thought, if I would have had more time, I would have got the Black Panther.
Yeah, we missed that one.
We would have won.
Yeah, we were so close. All right, and then that was our last night. So we did Arendelle.
Well, Arendelle by far was probably my favorite restaurant. I really liked 1923. I loved the aesthetic, and I loved the atmosphere. But Arendelle was like a whole experience.
It was so fun. I still like 1923 better, but Arendelle was a very close second. The show was really good. It was very entertaining. The energy level there was really high. I'm not sure what was happening with the napkins, but like we were slinging napkins around and everyone was for it.
We have watched that other people vlog that, and they do
I'm
the
always
same
like,
thing.
what is going on with the napkins?
It's a very.
I still don't know. We've been there and I don't know.
Getting the
sling it around her neck.
It's like if you were using a lighter, like
I guess.
it's like the
I guess.
during the part of the Frozen song, and like
Yeah.
it was kind of like a sing along. It was kind of like it was just everything. And then the drink that I had there, that was my favorite drink that I had.
Oh, that was so cool because it had like the it was like a crystal, like an ice or a sugar. What is that called? Like when you take sugar and make it hardened. I don't know.
I don't know, but it was like a layer, like a thick layer of what looked like ice, but it was like
Mm-hmm.
sugar, and you broke it on top of the drink, and it fell in, and I was like, "This is cool."
It was so cool.
It tasted good too. Like
Yeah.
it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I did think that the decorations of that restaurant were really not just really cool and really well themed, but I thought even extra unique for like the cruise ship because it really did feel like you were in a ballroom. Like I think they did a really good job with that. You really kind of totally forgot you were on the ship at all.
Yeah, and like other restaurants, there's portholes and that, like
Right.
everything, and you're kind of on the ship.
Yeah,
But
the way that they did those back
the
windows
back
was so
windows
cool.
that were like they feel like more like castle windows,
Mm-hmm.
and it was you definitely felt like you were in like a castle ballroom. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was really neat. But we did not go there for breakfast the next morning because that's typically what you would do on a Disney cruise for your disembarkation day is you'll go to breakfast at the place that you had dinner the night before. We opted instead to do Marceline Market.
Yeah, we thought it would just be a little quicker, a little bit more easy, just because like we have all the allergies, we have like there's a lot of us, so it was like,
well, because Tracy's kids could just do boxes of cereal that they already knew was safe, so we didn't have to deal with like kind of ordering allergy meals for them. So it was just going to save us time. Which it turned out we didn't necessarily need.
Yeah, well,
because it took us no time to get off the ship.
We thought that we were gonna have to like we had a private transportation booked already, and that was at a certain time, and we were afraid that we were gonna take too long, and then like we'd have to like rush or just the typical thing, and then it ended up that we got off the ship in like record time.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
So then we ended up having to wait anyway, so it was all right.
Yeah, so we probably could have taken longer at breakfast, but that's okay. So once we got got onto our transport and they took us to Disney World, we were so fortunate because it was still pretty early in the day, and we were really fortunate that we both got into our rooms right away because we thought we were going to have a bit of a wait, and so our plan was to kind of check our bags with the bell desk, and then we were going to go do something else, like find a way to fill our day until our rooms were ready. But we all everyone sort of wanted to take naps. We had after hours at Magic Kingdom that night, so we all kind of wanted to rest and make sure we were ready for that. We were going to go to Disney Springs because we were meeting someone for lunch, but by some miracle, we were able to get into our rooms, which was so great. So you and I dropped our stuff in our rooms and then headed to Disney Springs. Yeah. So I was meeting a friend of mine there. She's actually the mother of a friend that I went to high school with, and she and I just kept in contact all these years. I've been to Disney World with her a number of times because she would chaperone some of our show choir trips when I was in high school and we used to go to Disney World. But I met her for lunch. It was wonderful. We were going to eat at Wine Bar George. We made reservations there, but they just didn't have a lot in their menu that was gluten-free, and they just seemed really not accommodating at all about it. So we ended up going to Jock Lindsay's instead. Yeah. And it was called chicken on eggs, and it was like gluten-free little chicken nuggets in like a hot sauce on top of deviled eggs, and it was so yummy.
Yeah, it looked really good. One of them tasted good, and then my food, I had the pretzel charcuterie board, and it was really good.
Yeah, really delicious. So then we just shopped around for a little bit.
Yeah, we went into the Lego store. Unfortunately, didn't buy any Legos.
As if you need to when you're at Disney World.
I mean, if you go in a Lego store, it's kind of always need to buy Legos. And then we kind of headed back to the resort because we wanted to nap before after hours.
Yeah. In hindsight, we probably should have allowed a little extra time for napping because we only got about an hour and a half nap in. And it would have probably been helpful to have more. But once we napped, we then headed to Magic Kingdom, where we had our after hours events. We were able to get into the park at 7 o'clock. So the way that it works with after hours is they technically start after the park closes, but you're able to get into the park at 7 p.m. So you have a little bit of your kind of regular park day with your after hours pass. So after hours are basically an event that you pay to get into. You pay for a particular ticket from after hours, and you have free unlimited Mickey bars, Mickey sandwiches, Mickey ice cream sandwiches, that is. And then popcorn and sodas, basically sodas and water, once after hours begins. And then all of the rides stay open, and basically everyone else clears out of the park, and you kind of have the park to yourself. And it's an incredibly small amount of people compared to how many people are typically in the park. So it does take a while for people to clear out of the park. So if the park closes at 10, if people get in line for a ride at 10 o'clock, they get to stay in that line.
At 9:59.
Yeah, 9:59. They get to stay in that line. So it took probably a full hour for the lines to really start to go down, which was unfortunate for me because that was about the time that I was like, nah, I can't do it anymore. I'm tired. I want to leave.
Yeah. Well, if we got in at 7 and it wasn't really closing until 10, we were basically 3 hours in the park with everyone, including all of the after hours people. So it felt like a normal day. It would have been better for us to sleep longer and then go later, I think.
I think
instead
so,
of like getting there right at 7.
Yeah.
Just because we would have had more time alone. Because I think that was one thing that at the Magic Kingdom days specifically is that
it took so
too
long for the park to clear out.
It took too long for you and I to for the rest of the park to clear out. It felt like it was just as busy.
Yeah. Yeah, so I had a bit of an attitude that was probably not very good. Probably should have been a little more positive.
But we did get to ride Pirates, which is my favorite ride in Magic Kingdom. The People Mover, which is something that I have never ridden before. So it was kind of a cool experience. And then we rode Haunted Mansion.
Yes, which I always love.
And then we closed out with Seven Doors Mine Train.
Yes.
We had intended to ride Tron, but by the time that we were ready to go home, it was about that time, and then the park was still kind of busy, so it was still
a 30-minute
wait, and also too you had kind of fears of motion sickness, I think a little bit, and we were kind of we don't really need to ride this ride, so
I think we were okay to skip it. I'm a little bummed about that because I would have liked to have tried it, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. Next time.
So then our next day was at EPCOT, which is our favorite.
Yeah, EPCOT is our favorite park. We love the World Showcase so much.
Mm-hmm. I could honestly probably do 7 days in Disney World and just spend them all in EPCOT pretty easily.
Yeah, it was the Festival of the Arts, so that was kind of like an added thing. I don't know if I remember being there.
We have been there for the Festival of the Arts once before. Yeah.
It's kind of adds a whole kind of double experience to the park, so that's really nice.
I love all the specialty foods at the festivals. That's really nice. So really enjoy getting to do that.
Yeah, we had planned to kind of make one loop and then kind of figure out what we might like and then go and do the loop again. But spoiler alert, plans changed and we didn't
make
do
a
that.
second loop.
So after the World Showcase, we went and did a Journey of Water. That was something new for me. The last time I was at EPCOT, that was all under construction.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a really cool thing. Moana is one of my favorite Disney movies, probably if not my favorite new age Disney movie. So it was really awesome because I love all of that.
Yeah, and I had seen it, but when Tracy and I walked through there on our trip in November, it was nighttime. So I enjoyed getting to see it during the day. Although it was really cool looking at night too. I mean, definitely nice to see it both times, but I was excited to see it during the day.
And then we had a lightning lane for Guardians Cosmic Rewind. So we kind of made our way over there. We had to wait just a little bit in front of the ride, just for our lightning lane time, and then we got onto the ride. I got really motion sick on that ride to the point where I was like, I'm done. I'm going to go back to the hotel. Kind of ruined the whole day for me, unfortunately.
It was unfortunate because I thought it was such a cool ride. But it was funny because when you ride rides, and you are enjoying yourself, you kind of laugh. You're like, ha ha ha. You kind of make this particular noise. And you were doing that for the first half of the ride. And then it very abruptly stopped and you were just silent. And I thought, oh my gosh, Chris is speechless. He's enjoying this so much that he is speechless. And it turned out it was because you were not feeling good. So I was oh no.
It wrecked me.
Such a bummer.
It wrecked me for the rest of the trip, to be honest. But if I didn't get sick, it would probably be my favorite ride on all of it because it was really enjoyable.
I think just yesterday you were I'd ride it again. And I'm okay.
I need to try it again because it was really fun.
And then we had reservations right after that for Space 220. Which was a bit of a bummer since you weren't feeling good. But I had been really excited to try Space 220. I'd been really looking forward to going to that restaurant. It was neat. So you rocket launch, from Earth basically to this.
Well, you're in an elevator.
It's an elevator, yeah. It's an elevator that sort of shoots you up at satellite level, so you can kind of see the Earth, and it has a very hyperspace lounge kind of feel to it. I didn't think it was as cool as Hyperspace Lounge. I feel like it was, in fact, after being in Hyperspace Lounge, I feel like it made Space 220 a little bit of a disappointment.
I think it would have been cooler if you were sitting near the window.
Yeah. And
then obviously I was feeling horrible, so I didn't even finish
yeah, you
food.
hardly eat your food. So that was kind of a bummer too, because it's kind of expensive for what it is. And so it's you really didn't get, I feel like your money's worth probably out of it. And then I didn't think that the food was that great. I thought the drinks were okay. I didn't think the food was like really anything to write home about personally. It was okay. I wouldn't go back there. I would say that was a one and done for me.
I don't
for
think
sure.
I would either.
Yeah.
The elevator ride was the coolest part.
Yeah.
It's just like an animated video. So
yeah, which I think they actually have a lounge, and I think that the lounge you do get to do the elevator. So maybe it'd be worth going and just going to do the lounge.
Was the
just
lounge
having a couple
not
drinks.
the bar in the restaurant? Because there was a bar in the restaurant.
I thought there's like a separate little lounge. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
And then after we ate, we kind of like ran into Tracy and the kids.
Kai had that really cool though, because at Festival of Arts you get like the special like kind of food options at the little kiosk, and he had that cool deconstructed key lime pie.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was really kind of interesting. So we ran into them, went over his like pie choice, and then kind of all talked about what we were going to do after that. We decided to go over and do the costumes. Communicore Hall had, and I can't remember the name of the costume exhibit, but they had some of the Broadway show costumes for the different Disney Broadway shows on display, and some props and things like that. That was really cool. So we did walk through
that. That was really awesome. It makes me want to see like more Disney Broadway shows.
Yeah.
But they had like, Aladdin and Lion King and Mary Poppins and like
Frozen.
Frozen. Yeah. Those were really cool. It was really probably like one of my favorite things that we did that day.
Yeah, that was really neat. Then we tried to make one more loop around the World Showcase, and ended up not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I was just feeling really bad, and decided I was like, I want to go home or back to the resort and just like not move.
So when we got back to the resort, we kind of got comfortable and decided we were just going to hang out by the pool for a while. So we visited with, the family, and ended up ordering food out there, which was really nice. I actually kind of just enjoyed that afternoon.
Yeah, I think I had intended to get into the pool, and it was just like very busy and chaotic. So I just like sat in the lounger and just like rested because I wasn't feeling good, like I said. And then, so it was nice to just sit down and breathe.
Yeah, it was great.
So our last day was a doozy. We started off the day in Animal Kingdom. We went straight to Pandora because we had lightning lanes for Flight of Passage.
You were nervous because you thought you were going to get sick.
I thought I was nervous because they talked about like motion sickness on the ride. So I was like, oh no. But it was great. It was a cool ride.
We did have a couple of drinks and some snacks.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a drink at the Pandora area. I think we were intending to ride Everest, and then like by the time we got there, you had convinced me that you didn't really want to ride it. So I was like, I don't really want to ride it either.
Yeah,
so.
I think I was, because I have kind of gotten a little bit motion sick on Everest before, and so I think I was a little bit after what I went through on the Forbidden Journey. I was like, ugh, I don't know, like what if I get sick? And I think I was just really, I think we were both a little risk averse after what we had experienced. So we just walked around Asia and just enjoyed it. I mean, it's a beautiful area. So we just enjoyed walking around. We got to see the gibbons, so that was really fun. Before I tackled dinosaur.
For those of you that do not know, Whitney has never kept her eyes open. So because Dinosaur Land is gone and the dinosaur ride is going away, we decided obviously we're gonna, do one last hurrah.
I'm gonna make it.
And you were successful.
And I did. I kept my eyes open. And we learned about Sue, the Sue replica.
Here in Chicago at the Field Museum is the actual Sue skeleton, which is the most complete T-Rex skeleton ever found. Because of Disney's contributed efforts or whatever, they helped with the restoration of that original skeleton or original fossil. They were donated the only other replica.
It was kind of like a fun little
Chicago
nod.
Since it's right here down the street from us, it was kind of cool.
So then we head back to the resort for a little bit, had lunch by the pool before heading to after hours at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, I think that we were a little bit more prepared for the after hours this night than we were in Magic Kingdom.
Also, I went in with more managed expectations. So I definitely liked Hollywood Studios after hours exponentially better than Magic Kingdom. Like, I would actually do after hours again at Hollywood Studios. I would never do them again at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, we kind of, made our way straight to Galaxy's Edge to go to Oga's.
Yeah.
That was my first time being there. You had been there before. I would kind of have watched a lot of video of it, so I kind of knew what to expect. It definitely was a little different than what I expected, but it was really cool. Definitely felt more like a bar than anything else. I mean, that's what it is, but it did not feel like a typical Disney lounge.
The only downside to me, and we learned this, apparently when you check in, you can request to be seated at a booth, and we didn't know that. But we were at a standing table, which is what we had done in November as well, which is not a big deal when you're an adult. But Jane is not an adult. And so, like, she was standing there, and the table is here, and here's her head. So it was kind of like, sorry, you have to just stand there and look at the bottom of the table,
because it was like
and you can't reach your drink.
Counter height.
Yeah. Obviously, kids like Star Wars, and kids are going to want to go there, and they have the cool, like, you know, non-alcoholic drinks that the kids can have with the boba balls bubbling and all the things, and it's like, but you didn't think about, like, how small kids are, and that they might not be able to stand at a table.
So after we left Oga's, the park was already noticeably clearing out.
Smuggler's Run was only like 15 minutes, so we thought, well, we'll hop on Smuggler's Run and do that real quick. And I had not ridden that one before, so.
Yeah, that one was really cool. I can see that if you're not in a party of 6, that it would not be fun because
you're with strangers.
You're basically relying on strangers to like do things, and like it's like playing video games with strangers. It was like really.
Yeah.
it was frustrating with your own family, let alone people that you don't know. So
I was told I had the easy job as an engineer, but I'm still pretty sure I failed. But then we rode Rise.
Leading up, like all of like the pre-show, the pre-ride stuff, that was my favorite part of the whole ride, to be honest, was like, you know, all of the stuff that led up to the ride. That was really cool. And then like when we got on that one ship, and then it opened the doors and we were somewhere else, I was totally like, I felt like we were like in the movie set, like like being on the Star Destroyer, like it was. Yeah, I'm not like a huge fan of Star Wars, but it was like it took me back to like those like childhood memories of like, oh, this is cool.
The next one was Mickey and Minnie's. So you didn't like the trackless ride as much in that one, or you?
No, I think Mickey and Minnie's is really jerky. I feel like because also it's like there's so much going on visually. It definitely was like a little too stimulating, and also might have been just because it was like the end of the night and we were both like exhausted. But so we went over to the Tower of Terror, which is a great ride.
And Milo had not ridden it. So Corey had ridden Tower of Terror and really liked it. Milo had not ridden it and he was terrified.
Yeah, Milo has a pretty big fear of roller coasters, or he did at least. I think we got him over that.
We may have broken that.
But it's understandable. Like I didn't ride my first roller coaster until I was an adult, and then we started to do the ride, and like I think he definitely like his body enjoyed it, but his brain was like, this is awful.
So then we convinced him to believe us or to trust us again and ride Rock and Roller Coaster. And the whole time in line, he's like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. And we're like, you got this. He
really loves rock and roll music. He loves like definitely all of that. So that's why I think that was the convincing thing.
But he had so much fun.
It was so funny because he changed as soon as the ride took off. Like even mid loop, he was like, this is awesome. I love you. He's like completely different dynamic and like changed, and he really loved that ride.
Then we were done. Well, I was done at that point. We were gonna try to ride Slinky Dog, but I was like, I'm tired. It was 11 o'clock by that point.
You could tell we were spent, and it was fine because I already rode all of the rides that I wanted to ride. There were probably other rides that I could have ridden, but it was fine.
So then we headed back to the resort, and then woke up the next day and headed home. We were back home in Chicago. So I know that was a long video. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Hopefully the chapters were helpful in getting to the parts that you really wanted to hear about. But if you stuck it all the way through, we appreciate that. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up on this video. And if you did stick it all the way through, if you've made it through the end of this video, why don't you put a little ship emoji in the comments and let us know that you did.
And like we said too, we posted all of the vlogs of the trip. So if you want to follow along the whole trip, you can watch those. And then just make sure to subscribe. We'll see you next time.